Okay. So let's now look forward to the Colombia game on Saturday. We're going to have another live reaction after that game is done. So let's do a little bit of a preview here about this, Heath. Like, what do you want to see more, or who do you want to see more or less of in that particular game? Zendejas, again, is not available for this one. Do you want to see more Vasquez? Do you want to see more Jalen Neal, who I think obviously showed his promise, but then made some mistakes. Look a little young, little inexperienced, little naive. But do you give him another run out to because we don't need to see Aaron Long and Walker Zimmerman. We know what those guys bring. But Jalen Neal would be interesting to see once again against another opponent that has a lot of young players that have a lot to prove.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, again, I to stay on the Cade Cowell point, I think he's another one I want to see more of, right? You're seeing flashes. And if you watched him all last season, he's 19 years old. He came into the league at 17. He's gaining valuable experience, both at the national team, at the club level, just signed a new long-term deal in 2022. But what you see from him is the fact that he also could have lost his first dribble and then he would lose it all the time. If you watch him at the club level, he has that inconsistency in his game because he's young, right? Tonight, he was on. He was getting past players. He's running at players. He's willing to do things. He was willing to attempt things. But you also have to have that balance of a player that's going through all of this learning. So he's one that I want to see. Again, I wouldn't be mad at going with something similar to the same starting lineup. I don't know about you guys. Is there players that are buried? I know, obviously.
Paxton Aronson.
I'd love to see Paxton, right?
John Tolkien. I wouldn't mind seeing some John Tolkien.
I had Tolkien in my
Sam Rogers.
I wanted to see all those guys in my starting lineup now. But it makes me curious of why was there a reason I want
to see Eric Williamson start?
Why didn't I was always impressed with Eric Williamson, by the way. So I'd love to see him get more minutes. I know DeJuan Jones.
He wasn't
for
sharp
Chuck
tonight,
also.
so I can tell you that.
But what was the reason for Jalen Neal playing the full 90 or had to? They had said was there unavailable players? Rogers, I
don't know. That's a great.
Heard that.
Maybe they wanted to make a commitment to him just to say we'll give you 90. Sammy Rogers is going to get 90 the next game. Maybe there was that type of communication. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But how about you, Chuck? What do you want to see in this game coming up on Saturday?
I'd like to see more DeJuan Jones just because of his raw athleticism and how he's starting to develop now under Bruce Arena with the Revolution. That makes sense to me. Just given players who are going to be available and in their prime for this next upcoming cycle. So, I mean, DeJuan Jones is the right age. He should be included. Julian Gressel is getting towards the end of his career. Same with Zimmerman and Long, right? So they'll be in their 30s, whereas you have a meat of this roster who are 23 or younger, and so you want to get a chance to see what they're made of. This is what this camp is for, to elevate them. Right? You know what you're going to get from Sean Johnson. So I was happy that Gaga Sonina got the start tonight, and he made some big time saves. Obviously,
that one early on was sick.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential, so I'm excited about him. Obviously it's probably super disappointing for him not to get the win. But you look at some of those moments he had in the first half, and you go, "Holy, this kid is going to be something." He's got some great reaction saves. But yeah, I'd like to see Jalen Neal again. I'd like to see Sam Rogers. I'd like to see
Sabi
now because we've already seen Gomez. Sabi,
you want to see Jesus Pereira?
To be honest, no.
Yeah.
He's a 10.
I'm just not curious right now, right?
I don't need to watch him play.
He's gotten plenty of sample size.
Yeah, Vasquez scored, so run him out again and see what he looks like. And then
Sabi's one that I've again mostly highlights, watched a couple halves of him generally, but one that I'd like to see. Rogers good, Tolkien's good. Wondering why they didn't feature in this one, but
Aronson, because
you got to see Paxton.
If he's doing so well in Germany, like you said, then he's got to be sharp. I'd like to see what he looks like in that 10 position instead of Paxton Pomykal.
Was there a 6 sub rule? Or is there a 6 sub rule for friendlies? Because both teams had the exact same amount of substitutions.
Maybe
must be the case. Or sometimes coaches will agree upon a total number so it doesn't throw the.
I assume that there was some type of plan for some of these guys. It would be really Interesting, though, if Jesus Ferreira got called in and then didn't play. So I expect him to play in some capacity against Colombia. Speaking of them, very quick, they've called in 6 MLS players for this game. Los Cafeteros. They have 2 strikers from MLS, Cucho Hernandez from the Crew and Christian Arango from LAFC. They also have 2 attacking midfielders, New England's Dylan Barrero and Portland's Santiago Moreno, and plus 2 defenders, New York's Andres Reyes and Portland's Juan Mosquera. This is going to be, I think, a pretty good game. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they perform. I mean, Cucho and Arango alone are talented guys that are going to work. It's just a matter of whether
and Arango's on. Arango's, yeah, it's definitely.
It's like how interested are these guys going to be in going out?
Well, Arango probably needs a move. So there's interest in him in the league as well as probably interleague, and so it could be a time for the season he had to do something with the national team, because we know that even though it's a January camp for them as well, it can have a little bit of that last little push for a team to either make a big offer or a club to make that big swing, just being like, that's the thing that takes them over the edge. So,
okay. And then as our resident Revs know-it-all, Chuck,
nerd,
tell us a little bit about Dylan Barrero. What can we expect from him? Things in midfield.
He's quick. He's got a big wiry frame, but he's aggressive on the dribble. He can shoot from outside. He's a good finisher. I think the sad part for him last season is injuries kind of took him out of form and took him out of rhythm. With a full season, I think he has the capabilities to be an MLS All-Star, but to really turn some heads and get a move to Europe. He has that ability. So he's still growing. He's still, I think, on that, I guess, that trajectory of fulfilling his potential, but he's a player to watch for, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how we roll out. There felt like, and I kind of wonder if Greg Berhalter had any influence in player selection, or, obviously this coaching staff that was in place was his coaching staff for the World Cup, his assistants, and I wonder if he had any influence on their selections or how that all worked. Mysterious phone calls to U.S. Soccer have been dangerous as of late. So I wonder if he just stayed away from it all. Too soon?
I think there's a lot of changes coming at U.S. Soccer soon, still continuing.
It's the new general manager of U.S. Soccer, Hollywood Harry Heath Pierce, talking.
Honestly, they just keep not returning my calls, but I think I think you could do more of I think you could do more of like a Step Brothers number with them, where you two of us come in and we're co-partners on the GM. He's the G, I'm the M, and we're gonna do this together.